All right. So tonight we are talking about probably the most fun subject when it comes to coaching, and that is inviting. I'm going to be throwing a lot of information at you guys tonight, so just have notes ready or whatever you're taking notes with ready. And the call will be recorded. So this will probably be one of those calls that you want to kind of go back to and listen to a second time. I kind of tried to organize the call without just dumping a ton of info on you, but I feel like inviting is one of those subjects that is just so wide and there's just so much to cover on it that it's kind of hard to not kind of just word dump it on you. So just bear with me through the call. But one of the things I wanted to say about inviting is that, well, first of all, it's one of the things that I hear probably most coaches say they struggle with. And I think it's more so not necessarily that they're afraid to do it, but it's almost like they hold back and they don't do it because they're afraid they're not doing it right. And the first thing I want to tell you guys tonight is that there's not necessarily a right or a wrong way to invite. And I feel like sometimes people want it to be like such a black or white thing when it's really kind of one of those gray areas. And there's not really something that I can just tell you guys exactly to do when it comes to inviting, because your way of inviting, how you do it, what works for you is going to be totally different than a different coach. It's going to depend on your personality type, the people that you're attracting, just whatever works for you. Okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to say about inviting, but I am going to try to break it down a little bit for you guys and give you guys some tips. And if you have any questions at the end of the call, if you want to write them down so you don't forget them, I would love for you guys to ask me any specific questions that you have. Thank you guys for showing up to the call, the ones that are on here live, because I really want you guys to have the opportunity to ask me anything that you struggle with inviting or want to know more about if I don't cover it on the call. So this call might go a little bit over our normal 45 minutes, hour, but we'll just go with it, okay? So I kind of broke inviting down into 3 different categories for you. And the first thing that you need to make sure you are on point with in your business when it comes to inviting is organization. I feel like that is like the first starting point with inviting. And I'm not going to go super far into organization. I actually did a whole call on organization a few weeks ago. You can go on the team page under the team call recordings, and you can see that recording if you want to watch that again. But basically, you need to have some type of method of organization for your business before you ever start inviting. And that can be whatever works for you. For me, it's the binder method. It can be Excel, whatever works for you. But you need to have a place to keep track of the people you're talking to. You need to be able to keep track of their needs, what they're wanting to achieve, the things that are important to them. You need to be able to keep track of all this so you can follow up with them properly and you can do the inviting process properly. So that's the first thing. Organization. If you don't have organization right off the bat, you're going to struggle with inviting because you're going to be all over the place and you're not going to remember who you talked to or what they said or what you want to say next to them. And with inviting, it's really important that you really pay attention to what the people are saying and what they're needing so you can build that relationship with them properly. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is posting on social media, because I feel like one way to directly invite is through your posts. Okay, so there's kind of a couple different ways to directly invite people, and one of them is through posting. We'll talk about the second one in a minute. So with your social media page, guys, whatever it is you're using, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, when you become a coach, your social media becomes your business. It's your business page now. Okay, it's not all fun and games anymore. It's not the place that you go to vent. And, speaking of the election, it's not the place for that. It is now your business. Okay, so You can be who you are and you can be real, but you need to be careful what you post. Okay, so I really liked the analogy that Anna used the other day on her call. And she said that your Facebook page, your social media, whatever you use, is your storefront. Okay, so when you become a coach, you are now a public figure. Your brand is you. Okay, your brand is not Beachbody. So there's tons of Beachbody coaches out there. Okay, it's going to be what makes you different from the other coach that makes somebody want to sign up with you. So your brand is you, and your social media page is your storefront. So think about it this way. Say you're walking by a store and you see something that you really like, okay? It's going to make you want to go in there because you're attracted to that store. It speaks to you. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel comfortable, excited, whatever it does for you, and you want to go in there. If you walk by a store that it totally grosses you out, or, let's say we walk by a store that has all these political signs, posted everywhere, and we're on the other side of the political debate and we kind of feel like they're against us, you're not going to want to go in there. It's not going to be very warm and inviting. And a different side of it that I wanted to touch on tonight is it's important to make sure that your storefront is what you want it to be. So in your posts, you want to make sure that you're posting what you want your storefront to look like. But it's also important to make sure that when somebody walks inside of that store, they're not totally disappointed and let down. Okay, so what do I mean by this? I mean, you have great posts. I mean, your posts are just on point. They're, attractive. They're exciting. They get people excited. They make people want to sign up with you. But then you sign this customer and it's like, I see coaches do this all the time. It's like, hustle, 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 sign these customers, sign these coaches, and then they sign them and they're like, okay, whew, that's over with, moving on to the next person. And then all you're doing is you're putting on this pretty storefront, and then you're letting the people enter your store, and they're going to be totally disappointed. Have you guys ever seen, have you ever seen a commercial or an advertisement on a table or something of a hamburger or something that looks really awesome in the picture, and you're like, oh, I'm totally getting that. Even if it's 5,000 calories, it's totally going to be worth it. So you get it, you bite into it, and it tastes like dirt. And you're like, well, that's totally disappointing. Okay, that's kind of the same thing that you don't want to do with your challengers and your coaches. Recruiting is important, but what you do with them once you recruit them is just as important. I'm going to tell you guys, if you want to be successful in this business, the key is to help people get results and help people fall in love with the business and the process. Okay, if you really want to make an income and you really want to grow in this business, you need to make sure your team and your customers are having success and that you're there helping them. Okay, so make sure you're putting up good posts. Make sure your storefront is what you want it to look like. But also make sure when those people come in your store that they're not disappointed and they're getting what you promised and they're getting what you portrayed that you were going to give them. Okay, so to talk more about posting, when you're putting your post up, you need to think about what you're wanting to attract, okay? Because what you put out there is what you're going to bring back in. I see a lot of people on Facebook, some coaches, the negativity, you got to stay away from it, okay? So if you're somebody who you post a lot of negative stuff, you're going to attract people who have a negative mentality. If you're somebody who posts a lot of controversial things, or you're somebody who gets into a lot of debates on your Facebook with other people, you're going to attract people who naturally by nature want to debate with you, and they want to go against what you tell them to do, and they want to tell you why Shakeology doesn't taste good or whatnot. So think about what you're putting out and what you want to bring in, and make sure those two things kind of line up. If you're if you're posting positivity, you're posting confidence, you're posting how much you love your business and how much you love working it, you're going to attract those people that do the same, and they're positive, and they want to work it with you, okay? And talking about what you're putting out and, you know, your storefront and all of that, one example I wanted to share with you is think about Disney World, okay? Disney World is obviously super successful and always has been. And why? It's because not only do they have good marketing, they do the awesome commercials, the cute stuff, but it's the experience you get when you go to Disney World. Okay, so think about that with your business, because when it comes to Disney World, it's not the price, which that's one thing that I hear coaches say all the time. You know, it's too expensive for people, or people think it's too expensive. Well, do these people pay for Disney World? Because what's the difference between Disney World and Busch Gardens? Honestly, the rides aren't that much better. The cost is a significant difference, but it's a different experience. When they go to Disney World, they get a different experience than when they go to Busch Gardens. So you need to make sure that when you're bringing these people in, you're giving them a Disney World experience, okay? You're walking around with every little girl that has the button, happy birthday button on, and you're saying, happy birthday, princess, to every single girl that you see with the birthday button on. Okay, that's the kind of experience that you want your customers to have. And that's the kind of experience that is going to bring them back and make them fall in love with the business and make them see the worth in it, okay? So you need to make sure you're giving people that experience, and you need to make sure you're portraying that on your Facebook. Because when they see you portraying that and they see you having that confidence and putting the value on what you're offering, they're not going to be hesitant to sign up and join you. All right? So let me go back to my notes here, because I've got notes everywhere. Okay, so we were talking about putting out what you want to bring back in. And then you need to make sure you're staying consistent with your posting. It all goes hand in hand when it comes to inviting. So when you're putting those posts out, you can't, put really good posts out there and invite people and then disappear for a week, because they're going to lose your trust. All right. And another thing to think about when you're putting your posts out there and you're thinking about who you want to attract and who you want to speak to, when you're kind of putting these out there and you're teaching people who you are and, what you want in your business and what you do, you are sculpting coaches without even realizing it. There's people that are going to sit back and they're going to watch you and they're going to read your posts and they're going to listen to what you have to say, and they're going to think about becoming a coach on your team. And they might take a long time to sign up, but they're going to sit back and they're going to think about it, and they're going to pay attention to what you do, and they're going to feed off of that. Okay, so think of it that way. When you're putting those posts out there and you're trying to decide what you want to bring into your business, you're sculpting coaches that you don't even know about. Okay, you're teaching them how to act by the way you act. Okay, so always keep that in mind. Some other direct posting you can do for inviting, just to give you guys some examples, is like an invite to a challenge group. Okay, so I know a lot of coaches struggle with, like, what do I say when I'm inviting? So what I kind of do is I always make sure I have a group to invite to. Okay, and this is where organization comes into play. You need to have your groups planned out ahead of time. And sorry, my house phone's ringing. I don't know how to turn it off. Let me just unplug it. I don't take calls on my house phone, in case you guys can't tell. Okay, so you need to make sure you have the organization and you have your groups planned out. Okay, one thing that I do is before my challenge group is going to start, I always put up a post inviting to it. I usually talk about it about 2 weeks beforehand. Or if it's coming towards the end of the month and I know that I'm going to be starting a group the beginning of the next month, I'll start talking about it then. But I always talk about it a couple weeks beforehand to kind of plant that seed and plant that idea. And then I go back about a week later and I talk about it again. And you do this by, you know, for me, it'll be a picture. I'll put up a sweaty selfie after I finish my workout. That's just kind of my signature thing. I just post a lot of sweaty selfies after workouts. That's just what I do. So whatever it is that you post, figure out a way to put that challenge group invite into your post. And it can just be something simple at the end. You know, I'm starting an online accountability group for ladies on such and such date. I'd love to have you join me, whatever works for you, okay? Just throw that invite in the post somewhere. And so I do it about 2 weeks beforehand, and then I do another one about a week beforehand, and then a couple days before the group starts, I'll do like a reminder post, okay? So that's one way to directly invite through your posts. And then along with that, you're going to do the follow-ups with your people that you've talked to, and you're going to follow up and you're going to remind them, hey girl, just wanted to let you know the group's starting in 2 weeks. Hey girl, just wanted to let you know we got one more week until the group starts, okay? And we'll talk more about that in the next category. But that's kind of how you can directly invite through posts, okay? And another really good one is free groups. So I know a lot of coaches get kind of nervous about inviting because they're like, especially new coaches, it's like, oh, you know, I don't know what I'm inviting to and I'm not ready for all that yet. With a free group, you can invite anybody. Like, nobody's going to get mad at you. It's free. They don't have to do anything except sign up for the free membership. Okay, so if you're not totally comfortable inviting to a challenge group yet, do a free group. Run a free group. Look at your market. Look at, you know, who it is that you're speaking to and you want to attract. What do they need? Or what are your expertise? What can you help with? So what kind of free group can you run? And then get a post up talking about the free group that you're going to be running and have everybody join. Okay, that's another simple post. All right, so that's pretty much everything I want to talk about with posting. And now we're going to move on to the third category when it comes to inviting, and that is messaging, private messaging / relationship building. And this is the area that most coaches struggle with. And it's the one that most coaches don't do. So I feel like organization's easy. You can do that. Posting is pretty easy. Some people struggle with it, but most people struggle with the messaging. And this is where everybody kind of like overdoes it, gets in their own head, freaks themselves out, and just kind of falls off the face of the earth. So there's two different types of invites. Well, that I'm going to say. There's a warm invite, okay? And what this means is that it's somebody that you already know, somebody that's on your Facebook. In my eyes, I look at a warm invite as somebody that I've already been talking to, okay? So maybe I haven't been talking to them about Beachbody, but I've already been talking to them in a message, in conversation, or, you know, it's my neighbor and I see them once a week and I talk to them in person. And we're having, you know, regular conversation and they open the door for me to invite them. Okay, so what are some ways that we can get people to open the door? I'm going to give you guys some examples of messaging because I know a lot of coaches struggle with like what to say. So how do you do relationship building? What do you say? You know, how do you message people? What you do is you go through your list of your potentials, which you should all have before you even start the inviting process, right? You should have that binder where you have all of your potentials listed. You have all your friends on Facebook that you know are not already involved with Beachbody. You have all these people listed out for you. So you already know who you're trying to get to join you, okay? And what you're doing is you're going through every day or every other day, however often you can, and you're just kind of watching what's going on with these people. And you're just kind of keeping up with their lives and staying in touch with them and being their friend. And it totally depends on what you have in common with that person or what your relationship is with that person. But basically what you're doing is you're just being their friend. Like, you're just being a friendly person. So let's say I have a girl that, I went to high school with, and she puts up a pregnancy announcement. I'm going to message her and I'm going to say, congratulations. That's so exciting. Are you going to find out if it's a girl or a boy? And she'll message me back and she'll say whatever she says. And then maybe later on we'll talk about, the nursery, and how she's going to decorate it, or I'll give her some tips. Hey, when you go to look at bottles, Dr. Brown bottles are like the best ones on the market. You get the point. It's anything that any value you can offer people, and by being real. So if you don't have any kids, you don't want to message somebody and say, hey, so Dr. Brown bottles are like the best bottles to use for your baby. You know what I mean? Like, keep it real according to you, but just offer value. And so I'm just going to be this girl's friend, and we're going to talk, and I'm going to legitimately be interested in her baby and her nursery and what's going on, because that kind of stuff truly does interest me. And so she might say something like, oh yeah, it might be her second baby. And she might say, with my first baby, I gained like 40 pounds and it was so hard to lose. Boom, open the door. Okay. I didn't even have to say anything. She just brought it up, because when people know that you're a coach and they're seeing your posts and they're seeing what you're putting out there, obviously all of my friends on Facebook know that I'm a coach and I work out and I drink Shakeology. Like, it's not a secret anymore. Everybody knows it. So they know that I'm there and I can offer value in that area. So if she's kind of stressed thinking, man, when I have this second baby, it's going to be hard to get the weight off, and she opens that door, I'm going to say, listen, I've been there. I gained 50 pounds with both of my kids. I know the struggle. I will be here to help you when you're ready. Don't worry. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to make a note in my binder or whatever method of organization I'm using. And I'm going to say, Sarah is due with her baby in November and is concerned about, the weight she's going to gain with her second baby because she had a hard time with her first baby. And I'm just going to make notes just telling me what this girl needs help with. Okay. Or let's say she doesn't ever open the door like that and she has the baby. Okay. So then I open the method of conversation again, and I'm like, congratulations. Like, I see you had the baby, yada, yada. Okay. It's not really going anywhere. She's not really opening that door for me. So I'm going to run a free group, and the free group is going to be for mommies. Okay. And in this free group, I'm going to offer free exercises that mommies can do with their babies. I'm going to offer some healthy recipes for baby food, maybe some healthy recipes for toddlers, anything like that, okay? Sarah never once said anything about exercises or baby weight or anything like that, but I'm running this free group for mommies, okay? So I'm going to message Sarah after she has her baby and after she's, past her 6-week period. Well, I'm not going to wait until that, but I'm going to offer it to her after she's past that, where she has to heal. And I'm going to say, hey, listen, I'm running this free group for mommies. I'm just going to be doing some fun stuff, for all the mommies on my Facebook. I'm going to be putting up some healthy recipes and some fun exercises you can try at home if you want with the baby. I know you just had a baby. You're, a new mom or a new again mom. So I just wanted to offer you the opportunity. She's probably going to say yes, okay? It's a free group, and I truly am going to be offering her value and giving her value for something that could help her, okay? And I'm not messaging her and saying, hey, I see that you gained a lot of weight with your baby and you kind of need to lose it. So You want to join one of my challenge groups? And I think that's what so many coaches freak out about, is like that you have to message somebody and say, hey, like, you're really fat. You want to buy a challenge pack? And we're not going to do that. Like, first of all, none of us are like that. Like, we're not a-holes, you know? And the other thing is, like, why would you do that? There's no reason to do that. So you don't need to be so afraid that everybody's going to take it that way, because you're not going to do that. So
Is there any more games?
I don't know. You got to look. Okay, so it, like I said, totally just depends on the situation. I just kind of tried to give you guys a little breakdown of that. But free groups are definitely helpful in that scenario. If you feel like there's somebody that you really want to help, that you feel like would maybe make like an awesome challenger or an awesome coach, and you just can't get them to open that door, run a free group. Because chances are, if you really want this person to join you, they're probably in your market. They're probably like you. So you probably have something you can offer them, just like the moms group or, you know, a crock pot group. You probably have something you can offer these people. Okay, so that's kind of what warm inviting is. I just kind of look at it as like I'm already having the conversation with somebody, not necessarily about Beachbody, but I'm already kind of talking to them, and it's already going, and I know that. Okay, cold invites are something that is a little bit harder to do. All right, and I actually don't do a ton of cold invites. It's just random ones here and there if I'm really feeling called to cold invite this person. But basically how you decide what type of invite you should do. Okay, so our goal is Success Club 5 every month, okay? That's my goal. If you're somebody who wants to hit Success Club 10 every month, or you want to hit Success Club 30 every month, that's awesome, and I totally encourage you to achieve that goal, okay? So what you have to decide is, where do I really want to be each month? What do I really want to achieve? And then that's when you have to decide how many invites and what type of invites you need to do. So if you want to hit Success Club 5 every month or Success Club 10 every month, and you have a lot of conversations going, which in this business, you guys should always have conversations going. Okay, you should always be starting new conversations and keeping those conversations going. Okay, if you ever get to a point where you have like nobody in your inbox and you have like nobody you can message, you need to go back to the basics, and you need to write some people down, and you need to start pumping it out again, because you should always have people in your inbox that you're talking to and building those relationships with, or doing it through their posts on Facebook. You know, going on people's statuses and congratulating them or talking to them about things or whatnot. Okay, so if you want to hit Success Club 5, Success Club 10 every month, and say you're having all these conversations with people, you're building all these relationships, but you're not getting there. You're just not getting where you feel like you need to be. Or maybe you have like a super specific goal you're wanting to reach by a certain time. Like, you know, I need to be 2-star by this date, which means that I need to bring in new coaches, and I need my coaches to bring in new coaches. Okay. Then you might have to start looking at cold inviting. All right. So you kind of just have to decide for yourself what type of inviting you're going to do. Don't sit back and say, I'm not where I want to be. I've done all these warm invites. I'm talking to a lot of people. I'm not going to cold invite. That's not for me. Don't do that, because then you're totally selling yourself short. Okay. So if you're doing all your warm inviting, you're talking to all your people, and you're just not getting there, then that's when you start doing cold inviting. And what do I mean by cold inviting? Cold inviting is where you are not already like having the conversation with somebody. You haven't been talking to them. It might even be somebody that you haven't talked to in years. And something is just telling you, like, reach out to this person and talk to them, okay? The other thing is, as a new coach, in the beginning, you might have to do some cold invites, okay? In the beginning, as a new coach, I did have to do some cold invites. And to give you some examples of the cold invites I did in the beginning, I reached out to my sister-in-law, who was one of my first coaches, And although she was my sister-in-law, so it's more comfortable, I'll give you guys some other examples. But I was like, listen, I'm doing this Beachbody thing. I know you have no idea what it is. I kind of don't totally know exactly what it is, but I have a really good feeling about it, so I'm going to need you to do it with me. Okay? That would be more of a cold invite. Or if you just reach out to somebody that you haven't talked to about Beachbody before, haven't talked to them in a while, and you're like, listen, I'm doing this new thing. I'm really super excited about it. I would love for you to join me, and I just want to offer you the opportunity. You know, no obligation. It's okay to say no, but I just wanted to offer it to you. So as a new coach, you can do that. You can just tell people, I'm doing this new thing. You know, I'm really excited. I wanted to offer it to you. If you feel uncomfortable doing that, offer them a free group. Start with a free group, okay? And message people and say, hey, I just signed up as a coach. I'm running my very first group. And it's totally free, and I'm just going to do it to kind of try to get some practice and to help, you know, hold you guys accountable. Would you like to join me? Okay. And then you get all these people in your free group and you convert them over to a challenge group later on. So with cold invites, you might have to do some of those in the beginning as a new coach. It's not scary. It's fine. Actually, in the beginning as a new coach, I would say is the easiest time to do cold inviting. At least it was for me, because it's like everything is still so new and so exciting, and people can see that and they can feed off of that, and they know that it's new and you're excited and you want help and you need help and they're wanting to help you. Okay. So that's cold invites. I think I gave you a couple examples, but it's just, like I said, you got to decide. Warm invites, cold invites. If you have something that you really, really want to achieve, or you want to be a super strong recruiter, you're probably going to have to do some cold invites. To give you guys a couple examples, I know you've probably seen Jenna Schaefer and Jessica Robinson. They're two of my diamond coaches. They both do cold invites. Jenna recruits multiple coaches a month. Some of you might even be on here, and you might have even been a cold invite that she did. But she does cold invites. I've done them. When I do them for coaches, I will basically reach out to the girls and say, listen, you've really been on my mind. Your posts, like, we just have so much in common. Or I'll even tell girls, you remind me of me when I first started coaching. And something is just telling me to reach out to you and offer you this opportunity. I've done that quite a few times, actually. And I can tell you guys that I've never had a negative response to it. I had girls that maybe waited a while to message me back. But I never had anybody message me back and say, like, stop trying to sell me stuff, Steph, or don't message me, I hate you. You know what I mean? Like, it normally doesn't happen. I feel like we're all kind of waiting for, like, everybody to get mad at us. And typically people really don't get mad. Okay. So don't be afraid to cold invite. If you're feeling drawn to somebody, or you're feeling strongly that you should reach out to this person, do it. Don't be scared. Nothing bad's going to happen. All right. And another thing with inviting, it takes practice. Practice. You're going to screw up. You're going to say some things and look back later on and say, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Or maybe I should have worded that differently. Or I totally just word vomited on this person. Next time I need to take it down a notch. It takes practice. I look back at some of my stuff from when I first started coaching, and I'm like, what? Like, who were you? But people still join me. They still join me, and they still like me, and they don't hate me. So it's fine, okay? Practice and move on, all right? So let's talk about, just making sure I covered all that. Oh, another thing I wanted to say real quick, I kind of touched on this, but when you're going through and you're trying to do, you know, the warm inviting or cold inviting even, and you're kind of looking for people to talk to and stuff, pay attention to what they post on Facebook. A lot of times people will kind of put stuff out there like nonchalantly. That's an open door for you without them even meaning for it to be. So especially New Year's time is coming up. New Year's resolutions. Guys, there's going to be lots of open doors everywhere, okay? everybody wants to get fit and healthy for New Year's. Or if they don't want to get fit and healthy, they want to get out of debt, or they want to start a new job or find a new hobby, okay? There are so many open doors around New Year's time for us. So look for them, watch for them. Watch what people are posting on Facebook. If you have somebody that puts up something that says like, you know, oh, my schedule's so crazy, I just can't get to the gym. You know, maybe it won't be that black and white when they post it, but you know what I mean? Like, if they post something along those lines, reach out to them and be like, hey, girl, listen, I know that your schedule's crazy. So is mine. I saw that you're having a hard time making time getting to the gym. We have these programs that literally you can do a workout 30 minutes a day. We even have one that's only 22 minutes a day. I'd love to help you out. I know we can make it work for you. You know, let me know if I can help you. Okay? So look for those open doors and don't be afraid to message people. I feel like so many coaches are so scared to message people. It's not scary. And a lot of times people will thank you. Like they'll be so happy that you reached out to them. And they'll feel like you're that sign, that thing that they needed, that thing that they were waiting for. I've been that person in people's lives multiple times. But the thing is, you're never going to be that person if you don't get out of that scary zone of inviting where it's so scary to talk to people or offer them something. You got to get away from that. Because think about most of the things in our life that we've had, jobs, maybe even what you decided to go to college for, the idea was probably planted in your head or in your life or in your path by somebody else. Okay, it might have even been somebody directly offering you something. It might have even been one of your friends saying, hey, I work for this place, you know, I think I should get you a job here. So don't be afraid to offer people something. You never know who needs it, okay? It's really not that scary. All right? And then probably one of the scariest things with people when it comes to messaging, and I feel like one of the main reasons why coaches don't do messaging like they should, is they're afraid to get the answer no. Okay? First of all, no's mean not right now, always. Okay? A no never means no forever. Trust me. Okay? I've gotten some pretty significant no's that have come around. All right? So anytime you get the word no, just think of it as not right now. All right? The other thing is coaches hate when people read your messages and they don't respond. All right? Guys, this is so common and so normal. I feel like coaches send out a message. It like takes everything they have to send that message, and then the person reads it and they see where it's read and they don't respond. And they're like, oh my gosh, I said the wrong thing. It's because I posted that I hate McDonald's, and she probably had McDonald's for breakfast yesterday, so now she hates me, so she's not responding to my message. I just screwed everything up. She's never going to join me. She's never going to talk to me again. Coach, like, they get so freaked out because somebody didn't respond to their message. And most of the time, guys, it's not because they hate you. It's not because they think what you're doing sucks. It's because we live in a world where people just kind of want to think about things. They think about things, they ponder on, they kind of watch what you're doing, and they end up coming around eventually. So if somebody tells you no or they don't respond to your message, don't freak out. It's really okay. They're probably going to come around. I can tell you that most everybody has come around for me. I wanted to talk to you guys about some significant no's or not right nows in my business, just to kind of give you guys an idea. All right, so I talked about Jenna already. So Jenna Schaefer, one of my diamond coaches, she's actually a third diamond coach on my team now. She's going to be a little bit quieter. So it's kind of a funny story with Jenna. Jenna was one of my greatest friends when I started coaching. We had kind of lost touch a little bit because I started having kids and whatnot, and she was actually in school, in graduate school, when we kind of didn't go separate ways, but you kind of know how it goes. Kind of lost touch a little bit. Well, she ended up graduating, becoming a psychologist. I was doing this coaching thing. I really wanted Jenna as a coach. Like, I really wanted her on my team. But I never offered the opportunity to Jenna because I told myself that there was no way Jenna would ever be a coach because she was too successful. I told myself that she was too successful in her career. She already made too much money doing what she does. I knew, being her friend, that she went to school for pretty much her whole life to become a psychologist, to go through graduate school. That takes a long, long time. And I was like, there is no way that Jenna is going to quit, that job that she went to school that long for to become a Beachbody coach. Okay. And this was when I was about probably like a year and a half in, yeah, somewhere around there. So I was still kind of like not totally confident in my business, because if you know my story, I was kind of a hobby coach for the first couple years. And then after that is when I kind of figured out, like, what am I doing? I want to make this a business. So the problem was, I wasn't confident with what I had to offer. So I told myself, and I decided for Jenna that she wasn't going to be a coach, okay? I didn't even let Jenna make that decision. I decided that for her, and I never reached out to her about it. Well, sure enough, later on, Jenna ended up reaching out to me about coaching, and I remember being like, what? Like, yes, yeah, So don't let that happen. You seriously have no idea who would want to join you unless you offer it to them. And guys, today, Jenna is a full-time Beachbody coach, does not even do psychology anymore, okay? So you truly have no idea who wants this opportunity or who needs this opportunity. You really don't know. So if you want somebody on your team, offer it to them and continue to offer it to them and continue to show them what they're missing, all right? And then to give you guys another example, Anna Witt on my team. She's a diamond coach on my team. I'm sure all you guys know who Anna is. Anna was like my best friend, okay? And it ended up taking her over a year to sign up as a coach under me, okay? And she was like family status, all right? And there was a part of me that wondered if she would ever do it. But she ended up coming around and signing up about a year into my business. So just because somebody's not signing up right away or it's not happening right away, don't tell yourself that it's never going to happen, because you never know who's going to come around. All right. And then the last example for you guys is Jessica Robinson on my team, who is a diamond coach, soon to be star diamond coach. When I actually met Jessica through my like page on Facebook. So Jessica was actually a cold invite, if you want to look at it that way. We didn't know each other at all, but we had a lot in common. So we connected right away because she connected with my posts that I was putting out because they spoke to her. And then I connected with her as soon as I started talking to her, and we found out we had a lot in common. So we actually just started talking and just became friends like through Facebook. And she actually was watching what I was doing for a long time, and I didn't even really realize it. And she was interested in coaching for a while. So I remember one conversation we had where she actually had some questions she wanted to ask me about coaching. And in the conversation, I remember her telling me that she would probably not ever use Beachbody products. She probably wouldn't drink Shakeology because she's more into like the bodybuilding lifestyle at this point. She was getting ready to compete and whatnot. And so she kind of told me that she would never do it. She didn't tell me necessarily that she wouldn't coach, but she kind of told me that she didn't know if she would believe in the products. And then sure enough, she ended up signing up as a coach, became super passionate about Shakeology when she found out what it actually was and what it can do. She's got a lot of health stuff that she deals with. and she is a freaking kick-ass coach now. Okay, so those are 3 people, just to give you guys an example of people that come around. Don't get doubtful or start freaking out because it's taking time or because somebody tells you no. Jessica told me no and she came around, you know. So you got to let go of all that and you got to get past all that and you got to realize that that is just part of the business. It's just part of the inviting process and it's okay. It's totally normal. All right, so another thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to messaging is you need to kind of figure out like the type of person you are and the type of audience you're speaking to. So if you're somebody who really likes to talk to people like in person or face-to-face or on the phone, you might want to do voice messages. So when you're in a message with somebody and you're talking to them, or if you're just reaching out to somebody for the first time, you might want to be the person who voice messages so they can hear your voice and hear your emotion behind it. I do both, and they both work well for me. But if you're somebody more like me who is a writer, I always write out my emotions. I'm able to say things better through writing than I am through talking. I normally message people because what I like to do is I like to write out, you know, how I want it to sound, and then I like to read it to make sure it sounds the way I want it to sound. So just kind of think about like what type of person you are, what would you like if somebody was offering the opportunity to you, and then do whatever it is that you think works for you. All right. So we talked about no's and not freaking out about no's. Another thing is follow-ups. You need to make sure you're doing the follow-ups. And I will never forget something that I heard. I think I actually heard it from a psychologist, a friend of mine who was a psychologist. She actually told me about this study that they did where they found that when it comes to follow-ups, it actually normally takes 10 follow-ups before somebody commits to something. And when I heard that, it completely changed my business because I used to be the coach who would send them a message, and then I would send them that second message, and then if they didn't commit, I would either give up on the second message or the third message. And I would start telling myself, okay, now I'm being totally annoying, and if I don't stop, I'm going to totally turn these people off. I need to just stop. And then I heard this study, and I was like, that's interesting. I'm going to totally change the way I do things now, and I'm going to see how this works. And I'm going to tell you guys that now I don't ever stop following up, ever. Even if somebody tells me no, I still follow up with them at an appropriate time. I'm not like super annoying and like insincere about it. You know, if they truly have something going on, I'm not going to be like, hey, but I need you to commit. But I changed my mentality where I decided that I'm going to continue to offer this opportunity to people until they give me a chance to show them what it is and how great it is. So when you're talking to people, something that I do, when they give you a no or not right now, or they give you some type of excuse, don't just instantly take their excuse and run with it. Kind of try to like stop and think about, you know, what are they saying to you? So a couple of things I wrote down. One of the top ones, they can't afford it. All right. That is one of the main excuses we get from people. I can't afford it. It's too expensive. You know, I really want to try a Shakeology, but it's just so pricey. Guys, it's not that they can't afford it. We all know that if you really want something, you can find a way to buy it. And chances are those people are probably buying Starbucks or things they don't really need. So when they tell you I can't afford it, what they're actually telling you is I don't see the value in it. Okay? They don't see the value. You need to show them the value, whether you do that through words, whether you break it down for them. You know, girl, I totally get it. When I first signed up, I got my challenge pack. It was $140, and I told my coach, no way, that's too much money. But then I got it, and I realized like how awesome it is and how much worth the money it is. You know, I have my one program. I don't have to pay for the gym. It came with all this stuff. It came with this whole meal plan that I followed that has like totally helped me with nutrition. The Shakeology is like crazy. It has, you know, all these superfoods in it. However you explain it to people, feel free to break it down for them in words. If you don't feel like that's going to work, just continue posting and showing them through your post why they should see the value in this. And it might happen right away. It might happen 6 months down the road. It might not happen for a year. But if you continue to show them the value, eventually they'll see it and they'll commit to it. Okay? I don't have time. I don't have time to do those workouts. I don't have time, you know, to do a fitness program, whatever. What they're telling you is I'm not ready to make myself a priority. Okay? It's not that they don't have time, because everybody can make time for something if they really want to. But what they're telling you is they're not ready to make themselves a priority. So what you need to do is you need to try to show them why they are a priority. And you need to relate to them. You need to tell them, listen, I get it. Like, I've got 2 kids and a crazy freaking schedule. My husband works at night. Like, nighttime's crazy for me, you know. What I do is I take my 30-minute workout and I fit it in when I can. Even if that means doing 15 minutes and hitting pause and doing the other 15 minutes after they go to bed. It's doable. You can do it, okay? Show them why they need to make themselves a priority. The other one I wrote down is where they tell you, like, you know, they need to wait. So, you know, oh, I need to wait until we get through Christmas, or, you know, oh, the kids just started school. I need to wait for that. Or I need to talk to my husband. They need to wait for whatever reason. What they're actually telling you is they don't totally trust the process yet, and they need to watch you for a little while. Okay. So if they're telling you I need to wait for whatever reason, they need to wait because they need to see that they can actually trust what you're telling them. So at that point, what you need to do is you need to say, no problem, I totally understand. I'll check back in with you a week from now or a month from now, you know, or talk to your husband on Wednesday and I'll check back in with you on Thursday. Okay, you need to schedule the follow-up, and then you need to continue to do the same thing that you've been doing, and you need to consistently show them why they can trust you and why it's worth it, and you need to show that you're getting results and that you're excited about it. Okay, and you need to just show them that they can trust you. Okay, that's what a lot of people are looking for, is just to know, like, this isn't some little fad thing that doesn't actually work. There's so much crap on the market, guys, that I think sometimes we get aggravated with people when they won't commit, or we can tell that they, like, don't trust us or whatever. And it's like, oh, just freaking do what I tell you to do. But you got to kind of put yourself in their shoes. First of all, think about how long did it take you to commit, okay? Or, you know, how hesitant were you to do it? And you got to remember that there's a lot of stuff out there that really is kind of crap, like wraps that make you lose weight, okay? I mean, they might work for like a day or something. I don't know. Not putting other products down. But there's probably stuff that people have tried that hasn't actually worked. So they might be a little bit hesitant. So that's where your posting comes back into play. You need to be showing people that you're for real about this. You're excited. You're getting results. You're actually doing it, and it's working, okay? So don't fall off the face of the earth because you're having a bad week where people aren't responding to you or people are telling you no. Instead, look at it like, okay, cool, because I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and you know, a month from now, I'm going to end up having a lot of people message me because all these people that are telling me no are going to come around. And that's exactly how it works if you keep that consistency. All right. So I think that's pretty much it for that. Oh, the other thing I've written down with the follow-ups, how I said I never stop following up with people. I'm for real about that, guys. I really don't. And let me tell you why. Because as soon as I stop following up with them, somebody else is going to follow up with them. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to end up signing up with that person. So here, I did all this work where I followed up with them for so long, but then I gave up hope at the end, and then boom, guess what? That could be exactly when they decided they were ready, and that other person started doing the follow-ups and taking over at that point, okay? So don't be afraid to be annoying. If the person tells you that you're annoying them, back off for a little while and follow up with them, you know, a month later, okay? Seriously, though, you're not going to annoy people. It's just not going to happen. All these fears and crazy stuff that we create in our head is created by us. It's not coming from them. People really don't mind you messaging them and building relationships with them. It's as long as you're not messaging them and saying, hey, like, buy this for no reason. Like, you're not a salesperson, okay? So honestly, the last thing I really want to say about inviting that's important is just doing it. You just have to actually do it. I think that's like one of the main things that coaches, they just kind of don't do it. Like, they just sit there and they don't really do it, and then they're like, I don't really know what to do, or it's not working, or then they start getting discouraged because they're like, okay, nobody's committing. And the thing is, guys, you're only going to have so many people reach out to you. Yes, you'll have people reach out to you. That will happen. But you have to be reaching out to people too. Okay? In a perfect world, we could all just sit back and put posts up and everybody would line up waiting for us to help them. But that's not how it works, okay? It is a mixture of both. You need to make sure you're posting consistently and you're putting it out there, and then you're in your inbox talking to people, building relationships, okay? So just stop being scared and just do it. If you have a bad conversation with somebody, great. It's going to teach you what not to say to the next person. It's really going to be okay. All right? So that's pretty much all I have on those topics. If there's any questions you guys have or anything you kind of feel like I didn't really cover, something you struggle with, let me know right now so I can kind of go over it while we're recording. If you have anything you want to ask or say, or anything you struggle with, just kind of raise your hand and I'll unmute you. Heather and Jasmine, I cannot see you guys, so you'll have, here, let me just unmute everybody just in case.
Just grab the shield. Oh.
All right, everybody is unmuted. So if you guys have any questions or anything you feel like I did not touch on, just let me know.
I have a question.
Okay.
All right. So, like, for the free groups, do you think that doing a free group for, like, you know, the free 30-day Beachbody on Demand, do you think that would be a good free group to do? Yeah.
So, okay. So with that group, you just have to realize that it's going to be a free group for 30 days. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to have people commit probably for a couple months or at least the 30 days. So let's say you're really needing to hit Success Club 5. You're going to want to make sure you're still inviting other people to an actual challenge group. But yeah, the free Beachbody on Demand is definitely a awesome way to get people in, because what happens is they get in, they start doing the workout, they start seeing the results and just feeling it, and then they don't want to stop, you know. And at that point, you can either have them sign back up for the Beachbody on Demand, or you can offer them a specific program for them. But yeah, I think it's a great idea as long as you make sure you still have your regular challengers that you need.
Okay.
And then, so if you feel like, you know, you're having like a really slow month, you know, maybe just do like a week-long free group. And then, or do something like where you really try to hit Success Club 5 like the beginning of the month, so then you can start that 30-day thing. Does that make sense? So, but yeah, I mean, if you feel like you don't have like a lot of potentials going on and nothing's happening, do it. Do the 30-day group. But yeah, I do. I think it's a good idea.
I need those.
Anybody else?
I have those too. No, I need all those.
Leslie and Samantha, you guys are doing a 30-day Core Day Force group right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Started at the beginning of this month.
Yeah, it just started. We're on day 3.
How's that going?
Good. Really good.
Yeah.
There's only 2 other girls in it, but we're having fun.
You what?
I said there's only 2 other girls in it, but we're still having fun.
That's all right. It's just like, I mean, what I talked about before, it's like either having like a group of 10 people who are doing nothing or having 2 girls who are actually doing it. You know, what's going to bring you better results in the long run? It's going to be the 2 girls who are actually doing it. So honestly, the key is to sign up as many people as you can actually help and like seriously help those people. So you guys are doing it totally right. But all right, Jasmine, did you have any questions or anything you're struggling with?
I think I'm just struggling with basically everything you talked about, so it's like hard for me to like think of like a specific question right now. I also have like a really bad cold, so I just kind of like am here because I know that I needed to hear what you said.
Oh, I know. My little man is like sick as a dog right now. He had to miss school yesterday. So today's been an interesting day. But
yeah.
All right.
I had a long conversation. So for the past couple like weeks, I've been a coach now for like 3 months, and I haven't like gotten anybody on my team or anything. Like I've had good conversations, but I talked to you before about how I like sent a bunch of people the link, and then like that all happened, and then I had some other conversations happen, and then they would object me, and I would just be like, okay, I understand, and I didn't like say anything. So now I'm just like, how long do I wait to like follow up with them again? Like, because like, you know, most of the people like have this costs too much money, or, you know, like one girl's like, I have to pay off my credit card. And that was like a perfect time for me to say something, and I just didn't. I don't know why. Then like when I read it to Jenna, and Jenna was like, why didn't you? I'm like, I don't know. I just don't know.
Well, that's totally normal in the beginning. First of all, it's totally normal to get like, what do I say? I should have said that. And that will come with practice. So don't get discouraged about that. But if you feel like the conversation was left kind of open-ended, don't be afraid to just message them right away. Or like we talked about before, if you feel like, you know, that open door is not really there anymore, reach out to them and give them like the free group idea. Or what I always do is if I have somebody that I talked to about a challenge group and they didn't commit, I'll just reach out to them and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I have a new group starting on this day, you know, and I wanted to offer it to you. Another thing you can do right now with like the holidays coming up, the new year right around the corner, is you can really like get people excited about this time. So you can say like, I mean, like I have a countdown to Christmas group going, or, you know, we have a group going to see like how far we can get by January 1st. And you could do like different stuff like that. And you could tell them, you know, we're going to get through Thanksgiving together. Like we're going to have a cheat day for Thanksgiving. You know, and then if you're going to run it for a couple months, you could say we're going to take some time off during Christmas. Typically, I only do the 30-day groups because 60-day ends up getting a little too long. But you can just kind of use like the holidays to like get people excited. And you can just reach out to them and say, hey, I have this group starting and I wanted to offer it to you. And then at that point, they'll either be like, okay, yeah, or they'll tell you, you know, why they can't. And then so what you do at that point is you look at what they say at that point. And if they give you the same reason again, then just go in and say what you felt like you should have said the first time. So, you know, the girl that said, oh, you know, I know, but I still need to pay off this credit card. So respond to her and say, I totally get it, girl, but blah, 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 and tell her whatever it was that you decided you should have said. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, definitely.
So just kind of give them the opportunity to kind of open that door back up. So at that point, you can say what you want to say to them. Or if they throw a different excuse, then, you know, do what we talked about tonight, where you stop and think like, okay, she can't afford it. So what is she telling me? You know, she doesn't see the value on it. So then at that point, you could do like what Leslie was talking about And you could say, well, listen, if it's at the cost that's holding you back, we actually have Beachbody On Demand free for 30 days where you can do the workout program of your choice. That's a part of Beachbody On Demand, obviously. Not all of them are on there, but there's plenty of good ones. You can do the workout program of your choice for free for a month. And you can decide at that point if you like it, you can keep going. If you don't like it, you can cancel it. There's no obligations at all. Okay, so just kind of have like something to rebuttal with, and that'll come with practice. Like I said, it takes a little while to know what to respond to everybody. But another thing you can do is when you're like kind of sitting there talking to people, have everything written down. Like write down like what I talked about, okay, if somebody tells me I can't afford it, write down what you're going to say to this person, or at least write down like what you're going to think about. So, have in front of you, okay, if somebody tells me they can't afford it, I'm going to remember that they don't see the value on it and I need to show them the value. And you can jot down, 30-day free Beachbody On Demand. And if you kind of write because most of the excuses are all kind of pretty common. Like you'll find that a lot of people kind of give you the same excuses. So don't be afraid in the beginning to kind of just jot down the different excuses that people give you and what you want to respond with. And then that way you'll kind of have that confidence like in front of you to help you when you're responding to them. So that'll kind of help in the beginning.
Okay.
9, 10, 11,
Good.
13, 14, 15.
All right, girls. Well, I will let you guys get off here. Thank you for getting on and staying on for so long. And we'll be talking to you next week. I think next week Jenna is hosting the team call. So that'll be a good one too. But all right, guys, have a good night. I'm going to go try to figure out my phone situation since I lost all my information. This should be a fun couple of days.
Good luck.
Thanks. All right. See you guys later.
All right, bye.
Bye.